there's one thing that's been trending in the TSO verse, it's definitely which transformations are valid. We talked about Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Rage, Ego even, and I don't even know what Ego is. So today, my boy Carteru's Dojo is here to explain the unearned transformations in Dragon Ball. What is an unearned power-up to me even? No story, no build, no implication. Shit just happens, you know? I don't think there's that many. So I'm actually curious as to what he thinks even is an unearned transformation.
The longer Dragon Ball goes on, the more people throw around a specific phrase, unearned power-up. So let's go over every power-up that's supposedly unearned in the series and see if it actually is. Original Dragon Ball is where we'll start, but honestly, there aren't many cases of a character powering up in a way that isn't training related. I think—
Yeah, I guess you're gonna talk about when he drinks from the fountain, but that's not even really, you know?
Goku fighting against Giren. No, not Jiren, I mean Giren, Goku's opponent in the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai. Giren uses his merry-go-round gum technique to entirely immobilize Goku, and seemingly he can't escape. That is, until his tail conveniently grows back, and even more convenient, this lets Goku escape the gum, and with a quick display of power, Giren resigns. It's obvious why people think this is an unearned power-up, but what if I told you it's just not a power-up? Only the dub has Goku say he feels so much stronger with his tail. The sub, and especially the manga, imply that his tail only gave him extra time to break out of the gum since it took a bit of effort. So I'd say this isn't a case of an unearned power-up, more so just a classic dubism.
Yeah,
Next unearned power-up is against Tao Pai Pai, but I think the 3 days of training with Master Karin and the additional explanation later on of it being a Zenkai boost are more than enough for it to make sense and feel earned.
Yeah, Zenkai really bailed the out of a lot of things that you would think about OG Dragon Ball. And that's why I say Raditz is such like an impactful character, because Raditz pretty much justifies everything. Toriyama really crossed all his T's, dotted his I's, whatever you need to hear. When he introduced Raditz, bro, it really shut down the idea that Goku's just some random monkey boy who gets stronger and just has potential. Oh, why does he have so much potential? Because he's from a warrior race. They all do. Why is he a giant ape? Dog, were you not listening? Warrior race.
We'll talk about Zenkais, specifically without training, more later on. For now, the more important Master Karin power-up to talk about is 2 arcs later when Goku drinks the Ultra Divine Water. This is actually the very first potential unlock in the series, and it's a power-up that's a complicated one to cover due to how the story of Dragon Ball changed with the Z, but the easy answer is it was earned in the anime for sure, as Goku needed to go on a journey and even face a fake version of Master Roshi just to drink it. In the manga though, the answer will be based on how you feel about the payoff. You see, for the longest time, Goku's Ozaru form was a mystery and a dangerous one at that. But after drinking the Ultra Divine Water, the Great Ape form changed into a representation of Goku's own hidden potential. This payoff is quickly abandoned, however, especially after Goku being an alien and the Saiyans themselves are introduced. So I think it's fair to think of this one as unearned, but I can personally see it both ways.
That's why I literally went earlier in the video. I was like,
Potential unlocks. Gohan, Krillin, and less importantly, Dende get their hit.
Okay, this one, we don't have to be nice. We could call this Mick. Is there justification for it? Yes. Does it make sense? Yes. Does that really change that, yo, this just met somebody who just went, now they're stronger?
Of course, it's described as power they've always had, but it still doesn't feel that great that this is the way Krillin and Gohan catch up, especially when they're still so far behind. But that might actually be a good thing, showing that potential unlocks have a limited ability to make a character catch up without anything additional. This doesn't necessarily stay true later on, though. I think merging with Nail is a pretty powerful moment, showing both Piccolo's growth and Nail's resolve to do what he must for his people and planet Namek.
How do I feel about Piccolo? I like it. I'll say it's teetering, but I like the idea of Mecha Infusion is low-key OP as
So I think this power-up is narratively earned, and I think most people agree with that. The bigger issue is actually, depending on the source, Piccolo got 5 to 10 times stronger from merging with Nail. This skyrocketed his power level to over 1 million. That would mean in the 5 days he trained with King Kai, he went from a power level of 3,500 to a power level between 100 and 200,000. I don't care if he technically trained for it, that's bullshit. The other
that is good. This guy's good. I ain't gonna lie, Chad. I like this kid. He's good. That's why I was like, I'm a little shaky. Because making the Namek Infusion and boxing Frieza, that's all right. But I didn't even factor how strong he is off of King Kai's. I know that's training, but yeah, I agree. That is just total. The idea that he trains more efficiently than Goku ever being applied is crazy.
Zenkai boosts. When a Saiyan survives a battle from the brink of death, they get stronger. This happens for
I actually really adore Zenkai. When it comes to Zenkai boost, though, no, without a doubt, these are earned. It's been a thing that has been hidden to and implied since OG Dragon Ball. It's actually also an unironic creative way to do something that 90% of animes do, which is if a character loses a fight, he gets stronger. It's actually very creative to have a reason as to why that happens.
Death, they get stronger. This happens for Goku, Gohan, and especially Vegeta. The point of these is to show that, in isolation, they actually are pretty ineffective. While Vegeta is able to deal with Frieza's initial underlings with Zenkai boosts, all it took was the Ginyu Force to show up, and if it hadn't been for Goku, he would have died before growing stronger than them. Even earlier than the Ginyus, Zarbon would have killed Vegeta if they didn't need him alive. Only furthering my point. Gohan's Zenkai boosts are equally ineffective, as are his Rage boosts at this point, so it only leaves us with Goku, who specifically trained while inadvertently getting Zenkais from it. This combination of training and Zenkai boosts earned him the power to take on the Ginyu Force, later get a very important and massive Zenkai boost that is basically one of the two reasons Frieza is defeated. If you think that one is unearned, I can't really blame you.
In terms of them not really being effective, I actually disagree. Any hesitation in the Namek arc would have led to failure. Vegeta gradually gets stronger, just strong enough to stall off of Raccoon. Goku coming in last minute saving them is the whole thing. They needed every bit of that Zenkai. Those Zenkai boosts, yes, they weren't effective in the sense of eviscerating and deleting the big bad, for sure. But in terms of being an effective thing for the characters or the story, for sure. Without the Zenkais, everyone dies.
Though, I will say for Zenkais on the whole, for an arc that's dedicated to accepting and learning about heritage, getting power-ups through his genetics is thematically consistent at least. Which takes us to the dumb argument people have made in more recent years, though usually they're not actually Dragon Ball fans. Super Saiyan. It's not an unearned power-up. Training isn't the same as earning. More often than not, something being thematically or narratively earned is even more important and more satisfying than if it's acquired through training. This isn't the only thematically earned power-up either. That doesn't mean training can't be used as a good way to show that a power-up is earned, though. The Cell Saga as a whole.
Actually, I am pausing just to make it clear. If any of you Dragon Ball fans sit here and think Super Saiyan isn't earned, you're an idiot.
Is a lot of power-ups earned through training, actually, like the Super Saiyan grades. Other power-ups are earned thematically, like Piccolo merging with Kami and Gohan getting Super Saiyan 2. Which leads us nicely to the Buu Saga, where the beginning is all power-ups earned through 7 years of training. Majin Vegeta is a potential unlock, but it's a very character-driven one rather than a random power boost to help him just catch up, and the point is, it's unearned by his own admission. So does it even matter if being unearned is actually the point? As much as I don't like Super Saiyan 3 narratively, it is explained well enough, and Goku continuing to evolve Super Saiyan makes sense when you consider the fact that that was his main training goal in the Cell Saga. The main unearned power-up in the entire arc is Gohan's ultimate form, and personally, I'm a bit mixed on it.
I'm not as Mickey, especially because I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not even gonna hide it. It's one of those forms that like I could do without too. Base Gohan with white aura. I don't dislike the form. Again, I said it's okay, but it just like the idea of Gohan just not training at all and then getting rewarded for not training at all, and it's kind of like just telling him, hey, if you train, this is what you would be.
To have him slack off enough that he needs this boost. That being said, he did train for the Tenkaichi Budokai and even trained with the Z-Sword as well. Then, considering how Goku struggled to lift the Z-Sword, base Gohan might actually be stronger than base Goku at this point, so maybe you could consider the potential unlock a reward for his hard training.
Nah, it feels unearned. By the idea of the 7 years of everybody training getting significantly stronger. Vegeta unlocks Super Saiyan 2, Goku unlocks Super Saiyan 3, and then here's Gohan, who's just, I'm just chilling with my fam. For him to just like be stronger than every fucking body was like, it didn't feel right. In that training, the training with the Z-Sword wasn't substantial enough, especially when, again, he wouldn't have been that strong most likely if he didn't just accidentally break the Z-Sword. So it's pretty Mickey.
Just another case where I can see it both ways. Then we get into modern Dragon Ball with Dragon Ball Super. God. First might be surprising, but it's Vegeta's Rage boost against Beerus. You see, Rage boosts before modern Dragon Ball were entirely left to Gohan, with other characters only getting a boost from their Rage via a new transformation like Super Saiyan. This unprecedented way to get a power-up for a character that isn't Gohan actually leads me to think it's fairly unearned, but I'm sure that's a contentious opinion. Then we of course have Super...
Yeah, nah. Goku when he was mad, this little fucker right here. Yeah, nah. When Goku got mad, he ain't really fuck around. Now, rage boost equivalent to Gohan, like how he may be implying. I'll give you that, because even though Goku got stronger when he was angry, yo, Vegeta literally just starts boxing Beerus for like 10 seconds. But I was like, so fair enough. I don't think Goku's rage boost was ever something that egregiously high in terms of an amp.
Super Saiyan God. To me, the issue of foreshadowing this form is rectified by having Battle of Gods be an arc rather than just a movie, but even in the context of the movie, it's foreshadowed fairly well.
Yeah,
you could think it's unearned due to it being acquired via a ritual, but the movie at least addresses this as Goku's main complaint with the form. Honestly though, Goku is the only reason the ritual can happen in the first place. He's earned this power by being the person who made it possible for 5 other righteous Saiyans to even exist. Remember, characters are more than the arc that's
Love this guy. I'm gonna like that one. That's why I think it's earned. 5 righteous Saiyans don't exist if it weren't for this nigga.
Their history matters for stuff like this. And for me, that makes this power-up work extremely well. Super Saiyan Blue is of course earned through training, and even if
I don't like it. Super Saiyan Blue is unlocked off screen and it becomes the de facto transformation? Are we kidding me? We don't even see the first time they turn into one until they've like mastered the form? Are you wilding right now?
you dislike the fact that Golden Frieza only required 4 months of training, does that make it unearned?
Yeah, I actually don't care about that. He's a prodigy. He never traded a day in his life, and he was the emperor of the universe. So if Frieza trained, how strong could he be? Holy shit, I'm not mad at that.
This is why just training for something doesn't make it clear if it's earned or unearned. We don't have a line for how much training is good enough,
Good
and
point.
honestly, you could call it unearned, and I wouldn't blame you at all. Which leads us to Super Saiyan Rage, the form Trunks acquires in the Dragon Ball Super anime. It has one of the coolest reasons to transform ever in the series. Trunks is basically being told it's his fault everything bad has happened, and he refuses to accept that, but that's about all we get. There's no foreshadowing, no explanation, and we're meant to forget it the minute the arc ends. I think you can headcanon a way for it to be earned, but it's never really acknowledged in the narrative, so I don't think we should either.
Maybe because someone else said it. I said I thank the anime community for welcoming me with open arms. But I've also noticed that you guys have your familiar faces. People that you look for certain information, you know? No matter what I say, if Swagkage makes a video on Naruto and says Naruto as a kid could kill Minato, I could say 100 reasons why he's a f***ing lunatic. You would say, well, he's Swagkage. You're Sage. Shut up. But I'm not going to harp on it.
Should be obvious, but I think it's unearned. Then we get to the contentious power-ups that happen before the Tournament of Power. Like the fact that Krillin isn't as strong as Blue Goku. Goku was testing how Krillin would handle such a large gap in power, which is exactly what Gohan and Android 18 say. Goku's clearly holding back as not to kill Krillin, and a god form is the best way to do that since they can't sense how strong he is. Not to mention the fact that Krillin was losing regardless. Then we have Android 17 actually being Super Saiyan Blue Goku level.
This is unearned, but it's, you know what? This is one of the things where it's unearned, but it's cool, so deal with it. By the way, he skips Rose. Rose, I'll say it's earned. It makes sense. Because Zamasu is pretty much a god's apprentice, so you don't have to, oh my god, he has God Ki? What? Ooh, huh? Just the idea that that's his version of transforming into blue. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. If you think that's hypocritical, you might be right. Because 17 definitely is unearned. It's fucking cool. But see, I can admit that. You niggas will look at certain transformations, rage, certain transformations, and say, oh, it's earned because of and I'm gonna make up my own fan manga. All right, bro, I'm gonna tell you now. You could argue that Rose's not earned, and you could argue that 17 is not earned. I think 17's power is bullshit. Don't care though. MVP 17.
And yeah, that's just unearned. Gohan also rivals Super Saiyan Blue Goku, but that isn't from less than a day of training with Piccolo like most people think. After Resurrection F, Gohan asks to be trained by Piccolo again, and we even see them
Only trains
training
for a
before
day.
the Universe 6 tournament. If you for some reason don't believe this, compare Gohan in Resurrection F to Gohan in the Zen exhibition.
So he picks up a bit for sure. I'm actually glad he brought this up. Obviously, post Frieza, he gets embarrassed. He has to train. Later on, they're like, "You've been slacking, Gohan. You need to train more." Then in the movie, "You've been slacking, Gohan. You need to train more." Post Cell Saga, "You've been slacking, Gohan. You need to train more." I'm just tired of hearing that shit. And
For a
then
final
giving him the
time,
power.
Gohan is clearly in way better shape than when he faced Frieza. Obviously, the narrative could do a better job of reminding you that Gohan has been doing some training, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. So in a world where Frieza gets to God level from Namek level in 4 months, I think Gohan training for 2 years to go from Buu Saga level to God level is completely fine relative.
Yeah, now this I need to question. Was he training consistently since Frieza? I don't know. I remember a scene where Goku is like sitting with Piccolo on a rock or something. He literally is like, yo, I would ask Gohan to like join us in the Tournament of Power, but he's been slacking or something like that. And I can't find it. If I'm misremembering it, go for it. But I'm like positive. But maybe Piccolo corrects him and says he is training. I don't know. But let's just move on.
To the more egregious examples, at least. People then complain about the Universe 6 Saiyans, specifically Caulifla, because they don't like the way she unlocks Super Saiyan. While I agree the way it was explained is pretty lame, I do understand the idea that once something is discovered once, it's much easier to teach others how to replicate it. We skipped over this, but my basic view on Caulifla is that if you don't think Super Saiyan Goten and Trunks are unearned, then you shouldn't think this is either. And the same is true in reverse. Then in the tournament itself, plenty of power-ups happen. Ultra Instinct was of course something Goku had been training towards with Whis since Resurrection F, so I think everyone understands why that works. I think the one that people point to as the most unearned is actually Blue Evolution. While Goku trained to use Kaioken with Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta unlocked this form during the tournament itself. It entirely comes from Vegeta wanting to fulfill his promise to Kaba, but it's really hollow. There is a narrative behind it, especially with his whole speech about Saiyans breaking their limits towards the end of the tournament, but I think it would have been better if he got it during his fight with God of Destruction Toppo, since he would be rewarded for rejecting Toppo's philosophy.
I like this guy. If you have to do Blue Vegeta, rather than have him blow himself up again, horrible call, what you should do is have Vegeta get his ideology tested by somebody who is rivaling the power of the gods, but on the complete opposite end of what something Vegeta would never do. And now that you've identified that Vegeta's on the right path, and this character is ultimately clearly on the wrong path, Vegeta detesting it so much so would make the power up 10 times better. It's just still fucking ugly, but at least it's not a I will for Kappa. It's like not to mention it's ugly. It's like, did I mention it's ugly? So for many reasons, I agree here.
Either way, I don't think I can call it unearned entirely. There is a theme behind it, but I can say it's pretty lame though. Then I don't think there's actually anything to cover in the Broly movie. If you're really concerned about how Broly is so powerful, he trained for 40 years, has insane potential, got stronger during the fight, and had transformations on top of it all. To briefly touch on the Dragon Ball Super manga, I think
yeah, well, I won't touch on the Dragon Ball Super manga because I might read the Super manga. If you guys want me to read the manga with you guys, let me know. Subscribe to the channel and become a member, man. That's where all the uncut stuff is. Follow up the Twitch as well. Definitely subscribe. Take care and stay blessed. Bye.